One, two, three, funk it.
I can never seem to find hot pepper flakes. Someone please tell me how hot pepper flakes actually look like. I'm back from the grocery store and I'm really hungry. So I'm gonna make baked oatmeal. I'll probably make the apple with cream cheese one.
Hello, my name is Chayi. Welcome to my channel. And as you can see from my intro just now, this week I'm going to try out all the recipes that I've saved on my Instagram and YouTube. And for my first meal, I decided to make this banana-based baked oats instead of the apple oats that I mentioned because I realized I got so many bananas from the grocery store.
Trying bananas on top and baking it like this. It's so wrong.
And for lunch, I just made this random tortilla wrap because I wasn't very hungry. But I swear I'm gonna try more legit recipes after this.
So nervous.
And now I'm going to share a bit about why I think it's a big deal that I'm going to be cooking this entire week. Because if you've watched any of my previous Why in the weeks, you would know that I think cooking all the time can get a little bit time consuming. So I just eat takeout food about half of the time. So this week, I actually made a tiny challenge to myself to cook every single meal and not get takeout at all, just to see if cooking every meal would actually be that time consuming and difficult. So hopefully after my explanation, you would think I'm less of a weirdo for making a big deal out of cooking all the time. And now on to the food review which you all are probably here for. This carrot cake baked oats was a lot more high effort than what I would normally go for in a recipe. But I decided to give it a go anyways because I genuinely wanted to see if a recipe that required me to measure exactly 50 grams of oats and 2 egg whites would taste better than my usual baked oats recipe.
Into it. Oh, where's my cream cheese filling? Where is it? It looks good, but it's no carrot cake. Maybe I should have put more spice, like more cinnamon. I don't have nutmeg because I don't really follow these recipes like completely. I don't have those fancy things like protein powder, something flavored drops. I don't even know what are those. I assume they're flavorings, but I personally only have vanilla essence, so that's the best I can do. I'm going to try making a folded gimbap. It looks pretty simple. I don't think I can screw it up.
Honestly, this folded gimbap wasn't too hard to make and it was pretty tasty. But for some reason, it was pretty hard for me to cut through the cling wrap. So it didn't turn out anything like the gimbap I saw in the YouTube video, but I would definitely still make this again because it tasted pretty good.
Oh my god, appearance I'll give it a 5 out of 10. But taste wise, it's definitely a 9 out of 10.
For dinner, it was nothing too special. It was just Japanese curry with some veggies that my mom made. And for dessert, we had this cake that was already 4 days old left over from my mom's birthday because we honestly all just forgot about it.
It's a bit solid now. The cream is hard already. It's like the Swiss roll you put in the fridge too long also will become like that. Very nice. looks okay right now. It's sort of deflated right now, but I'll work with it.
Okay, so I actually had pretty high hopes for these pancakes because they were not the usual banana oat healthy pancakes that I usually see on fitness influencers like channels or pages or anything, and they look so fluffy in the YouTube video that I watched. And as you can see from the video, it obviously didn't turn out very well, but I also can't waste food, so I just topped it off with banana, bacon, and loads of maple syrup.
I don't know if it's because I just suck at making pancakes, but it's not fluffy. It's so bubbly. It might be because I didn't whip it up correctly or something, but I mean, it does look like a stack of pancakes. Oh, so I will not do this again. Okay, I have had enough of editing and I'm gonna try making my cinnamon rolls right now. Hopefully, they're gonna turn out okay. Fingers crossed and pray very hard.
Okay, so for a little bit of context as to why I say fingers crossed for me making the cinnamon rolls is because I did try making cinnamon rolls before in the past, but they just turned out really burnt, very deformed, and just not very appetizing. So I wasn't having like super high hopes for this, but the recipe looked simple enough, so I was willing to try this again and hopefully prove myself wrong that I'm not a terrible baker. And so far, everything was looking good. It was definitely much more better than my first attempt at making cinnamon rolls. And I only have one regret, which is I somehow thought it was a good idea to make cinnamon rolls for lunch, but I didn't realize that it's gonna take altogether 3 to 4 hours to finish. I ended up having to snack like a bazillion things while waiting for these rolls to rise, proof, whatever you call it. But these were small issues because I was willing to wait for these beautiful cinnamon rolls that didn't disappoint.
Mommy, you can try my cinnamon roll. I'm very happy, Mommy. I spent 4 hours to do this. Okay, it's the time to finally eat this. I'm so happy. This is like literally so much better than my first attempt. I didn't dare to speak so loudly in the kitchen because my family was there. And I'm usually not like this when I'm with them. I'm more myself when I'm alone or with my friends. So I'm gonna taste this. I'm so freaking excited. I'm so happy. Life is good. Here's a close-up of my cinnamon bun over here.
And for dinner, it was just a simple Chinese stir-fried kind of dinner. And you'll see my mom cook a lot more because Malaysia was under a lockdown again at that time.
Every day I'm gonna cook like this. Time to cook.
For lunch, I tried making Bibimbap, which was something I've wanted to try making for a very long time, but never actually got around to making it because I always thought it was too much work just to make for one person. And as I actually started doing it, I realized it actually wasn't that hard to make, and damn, I was so proud of myself for making this.
Okay, let's try this. The beef is really good. I should have gotten a bigger bowl. Eating is a complete struggle right now. I think the nuts is so good. I'm so confused. It's so good.
At this point, I realized cooking might not actually be that hard or as time consuming as I initially thought, because it only took me on average about extra 1 to 2 hours of my day to cook all my meals, which honestly really isn't that much. Considering that I probably would have been procrastinating or watching more YouTube videos if I didn't spend this time cooking. And For dinner, I just made this very simple grilled teriyaki chicken chop, which honestly just required me to stand there more than half of the time waiting for the chicken to grill in this grill thingy, and I even got a chance to take a walk while waiting for my family to come back for dinner.
Is the chicken okay? Okay. Okay, no.
And what actually sparked me to challenge my mindset when it comes to cooking was a video I watched from Ali Abdal on productivity, where he said that every time we say we do not have time for something, it's not that we actually don't have the time. What we are actually doing is choosing to do one thing over the other. So for example, when I say I don't have time to cook, it's not that I don't actually have the time. It's just that I may be, let's say, choosing to use my time to watch more YouTube videos instead of using it to cook myself a meal. And of course, there's nothing wrong with wanting to do something else other than cooking, because everyone has different priorities and different things that make them happy.
Very foreigners to cook this thing. But overall, it tastes really good. I just wish I salted it more. That's about it.
But for me, realizing this fact was very empowering because I realized all the things we do are the result of our own choice and priorities rather than something that just happens to us. That if we want something to happen, it's up to us to choose to make time for it. And of course, there's still going to be days where I don't think it will be very practical for me to cook my own lunch. For example, would be on this day where I only had a 1 hour break in between a 7 hour class.
Profitable in the event the purchaser shall pay or shall fail to complete the transaction. So when you see the word profitable,
I'm sick of daydreaming. I just want the feeling of you in my bed.
So very sad. Because I really didn't want to break my cooking streak, so I thought making carbonara during my 1 hour break would be a good idea. But unfortunately, a rushed chai is not a very clear-headed chai. I totally forgot to turn off my stove when I put in my egg and cheese mixture, so I ended up with this very disappointing looking chow mein that was too rich because I even put 2 egg yolks. Like, you remember the time where I made that carrot cake that only required 2 egg whites? Yeah, the egg yolks went here, and yeah, let's just say lunch wasn't very good. But overall, I was still very proud of myself to insist to cook even though I know it's going to be very hard and just not take the easy way out.
Fill my brain with some ecstasy. I'm sick of daydreaming. I just want the feeling of you in my bed. I'm down to just waste time right below.
And I would say I was pretty proud of myself when I looked back on this week, if I'm being honest. Not only did I make time to cook delicious and healthier meals for myself, I was also able to prove to myself that home-cooked food doesn't always have to be bland and boring. And I also got to explore my creativity when I tried out new recipes. So overall, it was a really good week and I was really happy. This week, I learned to put myself first and stress out less over schoolwork. And I also got to nourish my body very well and not be tempted to reach for a bag of chips and call it a day. And realistically, I probably wouldn't cook as much as I did this entire week because honestly, I was pretty done full for the entire week. So I didn't even know what hunger felt like, which to me isn't always a good thing. And I decided to end my week on a high note with this Korean spicy noodles. I added mozzarella on top, which honestly didn't make much of a difference. And I also made these gyozas, and it's my first time cooking gyozas. And honestly, it was a bit of a fail because they turned out a little bit too soggy. And this was really a much better choice to cook compared to my carbonara yesterday because at least it was a lot more simpler to cook for a 1 hour lunch break. And I also topped off my Korean spicy noodles with a bit of tortilla chips, which reminded me of the times when I would stay overnight at my friend's place and we would eat chips, eat spicy noodles, and watch a movie together. Those were really good times, so I'm just trying to relive it because we have been under an MCO for so long right now. And yeah, I just brought really good memories, so whoever of my friends who is watching this, you would definitely know. And after class, I was having major chocolate chip cookie cravings, but I wasn't prepared to spend like $6 to $7 just for one cookie when you buy from those home bakers on Instagram. So I decided to make my own Levain-style chocolate chip cookies, which turned out pretty good to be honest, even though it ended up looking like a bao with the size of my palm. And you'll definitely be able to tell from the clips after this that I was super duper excited because all of my cookies always end up really soggy and not having that crunchy thing on the outside. So okay, I'm gonna say this again. I'm really proud of myself for whatever I did today.
Outside is crunchy, inside is soft, mommy. You want to taste a bit? I just
afterwards, so I want to watch it because I will put the salt. I'm very scared that it's going scared lah, I see two already, now I don't. It's a leech, you know.
Okay, so now we are approaching the end of this video. Thank you so much if you have watched this far. I hope you enjoyed seeing me do a lot of cooking attempts, and hopefully you'll be able to find at least one recipe you want to try from this video, because honestly the food from those cooking tutorials looked a lot more appetizing than whatever I plated up over here. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you want to see more content like this, because it will really help my channel out if you all liked and subscribed, or just leave a comment. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye!
that one very sweet. At first I thought that one sweet is because the pumpkin make it sweet.